Welcome once again to Kingdom Business Network. We're so much glad that you're watching this program today. We don't take it for granted. We want to partner with you in terms of this speaking engagement today so that we can help you grow your business. And for those who are looking for something to do, this is the place to be. Watching this program will actually open you up to opportunities and ideas on running your business, and also in areas whereby you can start a business. Today, we want to equip you with tips on how you can sell. So we want to discuss the art of selling, what it takes to close the deal. And to help us unpack that is Eunice Maina, who is our guest today. Eunice, you can introduce yourself to the viewer.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Eunice Maina. I'm the CEO and founder of 20X Entrepreneur. I've also founded another company called Bismart Insurance. Yes. And I'm also an author of 2 books. They Sell Me This Pen and The Hits and Misses.
Thank you very much. And also on the show today is my co-host Victoriana Alwanga. You can introduce yourself and also tell the viewers something on what to expect today.
Thank you, Dr. Mungai, and thank you, Eunice, for being on this show today. We're really looking forward to hear what you have to tell us in terms of making sales. And to our viewers, welcome to the KBN show. We're glad to have you tuning in from wherever you are. Remember to hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Remember to like. Remember to share with your friends so that we can all keep growing in terms of knowledge and advancing ourselves in our personal finances. As you've heard, my name is Victoriana, and today's topic is on making sales. So what is it exactly that you really need to do to close that deal? Stay tuned, keep sending in your questions, even as we continue with the conversation. Thank you.
Also remember to send the questions that you have to our guest, Eunice, on the issue of selling, and she will address those in the second part of this program. So Eunice, how did you first get into sales?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Yeah.
My first job, I'm a scientist. So I studied chemistry and mathematics at the University of Nairobi. And then I had a short stint in the pharmaceutical industry as a lab technician. And then I got into a technology company called IAT. This is where I was trained to manage learning and also trained in technology. After working there for 5 years, I realized I wanted to make money. Mm-hmm. And when I read many books about money making, like, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the Cash Flow Quadrant, I had to, all these books were saying you need to learn how to sell. Mm-hmm. So I asked myself, okay, I need to make money, and the way to making money is selling. So how do I learn how to sell? And the easiest way to learn how to sell is to sell. So I looked for a sales job, and this time the easiest job to get in Kenya, sales job to get in Kenya, which one is it? It's selling insurance. So I went to an insurance company and they gave me a job to sell. So that's how I got into selling.
Your story is very interesting because it's exactly almost like mine. I did mathematics and chemistry at the University of Nairobi, but finalized second year, that year was chemistry. So started working in a pharmaceutical company, then got a job in an insurance company, AIG.
That's interesting.
And then I moved to sales and marketing.
So we are alumni.
Very interesting. So I can relate with what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I always tell people that selling is a must for anybody who wants to make money.
Yes.
You need to look for something to sell.
Yes.
I don't know. That's what I believe.
Yeah. Everyone is a salesperson. You see, we are all born to sell because what is selling is exchange of value. Yeah. So even when you're a child, you actually learned selling when you're a child. Yeah. When you want your diapers changed, what did you do? You cry. When you wanted food, you had a way of doing that. Now the difference is that some people, skill themselves into becoming excellent in selling, and others decide to just sit on it. Yeah, but everyone is a salesperson. And there's no business that can survive without sales. You won't get that job if you can't sell. because it's about selling. What is it that you can offer? You won't get your kids to do what you want if you can't sell.
Yeah.
So selling is our way of life.
Whether
Only
it's a
that we're not
product,
conscious.
whether it's an idea,
Yes.
whether you're selling yourself,
Yeah.
your service, etc.
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember the first thing you ever sold? And what was it and how did it go?
The first thing I ever sold, when I remember, is a banana.
Okay.
There's a time that where I come from, we grow coffee. And at some point, coffee stopped being profitable. So we started planting bananas in the coffee plantation. And I was given my space and I planted my banana. I was quite young in primary school. So the banana grew and I sold it. Yeah, I took it to the market and I got 40 shillings.
And you're so excited.
That was a lot of money.
Did that tell you that you are now born somebody who can sell, or what got into your mind?
I actually didn't know what it was I was doing.
Okay.
Because the banana has grown and I need some pocket money and I sold it. So I didn't know whether it's a trade or it's a skill. I just did it because it needed to be done.
And I see you wrote a book, Selling with This Pen. Maybe you can talk about it. What inspired you to write that? I thought you sold the pen the first time, but anyway, tell us about Sell This Pen.
So when I decided I want to make money and I went to look for a job, I was called for an interview. And the manager there told me, you look like you can sell, but we don't know. He gave me a pen and said, sell me this pen. So that was what inspired the title of this book. It was the first question I was asked when I was looking for a sales job. And this book, I started writing it when I was still let me just give you a brief story of my selling journey. So the first 3 months, I did not sell anything. I struggled.
That's insurance.
Yeah, selling insurance.
That's normal.
You understand how hard it is to sell insurance. So the 4th month, I sold 5 policies. That was very good. And I was celebrated in the branch and I was even taken out for lunch. Then the next 3 months, I did not sell anything. And it's like I had exhausted all the work I had done the 3 months I was not selling. I exhausted it in 1 month. And now I needed to do more work. And fast forward, after that, when I started selling, I never stopped. I sold every week. And I ended up becoming one of the top salespeople within the same year. So I was promoted to be a unit manager, where now I was able to recruit other agents and help them grow. And then after a while, I was promoted to be country sales manager for microinsurance. Now, when I was the sales manager, the country sales manager, I would visit branches to visit the agents. The company had a lot of agents, over 3,000 agents. So every Friday, I would be in a branch because they meet on Fridays. And after I train, many of them would come and tell me, Eunice, can you mentor me? Can you train me? Can you coach me? Can you hold my hand? But we had, there are 3,000. How do you mentor 3,000 people? So I started every Friday morning sending an email on, an inspirational email, guiding them on what to do for this week. And that email will be read in the branches. So I was looking for ways to multiply myself so that then I can mentor many people without necessarily meeting them. Remember, technology. So when you do technology, you think on how do you scale? So fast forward, when I was still in the company, I was like, okay, how do I create a manual so that then people in the branches can be studying and then they do? Because you see, it's my journey. So I started writing the book while I was still employed. But then I left the job in 2017. I had not finished the book by the time I left. So when I left, I knew it was one of the projects I needed to finish. But we, got some people to help me, editors. And at some point I got into a legal issue. So I abandoned the project until COVID happened. And see, COVID happened and everybody's at home. Then I remember I have a project to finish. Yes, it has handles, and how do I overcome them? That's how I wrote the book. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What's the key lesson that you learned as a salesperson?
The key lessons I have learned as a salesperson is, number one, selling is not telling. See, when I was working as a sales agent, we used to look out for people who talk a lot. And because they are talking a lot, you think they will sell a lot. Over time, I realized those who talk a lot don't sell much, because selling is not telling. So they end up hogging the space for the client, and the client doesn't speak. So lesson number one, selling is not telling, it is listening. So those who listen more actually make more sales.
More sales.
Number two, I have learned that sales is a service. It's a service to humanity. You're serving people. It's the way God answers people's prayer.
Yes.
Why? Because right now, as we speak, there's somebody praying for a house. Now, who is going to meet that prayer? Is God going to come from heaven to do that?
No.
A salesperson needs to find this person and show them the many options of houses there is, and they choose one. You get. Number three lesson, I will just share three, is that selling is about understanding the customer's pain, desires, aspirations, dreams, and just helping them. So basically, I look at a salesperson as a trusted guide. So we have the customer here, this is where they are, and they want to go there. And here, there's an obstacle, there's something holding them back. Is something making them not go where they are going. And you are here as a trusted guide to help them navigate around this obstacle to achieve the goal that they want to achieve. Those are the biggest lessons I have learned about sales.
Are those in your book?
Yes, they are here.
Okay,
They're all documented.
Just hold that book towards the camera.
Yes. Sell me this pen. I've documented this journey with my own personal stories on how I met a client and what was the obstacle and how did I help them.
So for the viewer who wants to hear more on that, it's all in that book.
Yes.
Victoriana, what's your take on this?
Well, I'm really hearing a lot, and it's just picking up a lot of curiosity in me. And maybe now, based on what you've been telling us about sales, you've said that selling involves exchange of value. When we started, you mentioned it can be a service, it can be a product. You've also mentioned that selling entails listening to the customer. You've also mentioned that selling involves understanding their pain and their need, right? And when I come back to what you said, that selling is not telling, that those who tell more, they don't sell more.
Actually don't sell.
It brings me to wonder then, how does marketing come in when we are talking about making sales? What is the difference between sales and marketing, and where do these two intersect?
Okay. Now, I do not have the academic definition. I just have the practical definition and how I see it. I see marketing as, you see, there are so many customers out there who do not know you. And you know, selling, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. Okay? So what is marketing? How do people get to know me? So it's basically getting people, the majority out there who do not know you, to get to know you. That's how I see marketing as. Now, once they get to know you, they need to like you and they need to trust you. So trusting now is where the salesperson comes in to develop, this trust, to build this relationship, to connect with the customer, because they buy from people. They don't buy from brands. They don't buy from names. They buy from people within those organizations. Is there anyone who buys from a company? People buy from people. So I see marketing as, way of telling people out there, we exist. I am here. See me. Get to know me. And then sales is, let's have a relationship. It's like, when you stand at the podium, that is marketing. People are seeing you. They are knowing you. But then if by any chance you get a date, then now you go to a sales conversation whereby you go out for coffee, you get to know this person, and then you have another date, and then another one, and then there's exchange of products or service, maybe exchange of rings. That's
You're closing the deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you've talked about now after the people now know you, and then now you have to bring in the salesperson to build the trust. Now this begs the question, then what are the core qualities of a good salesperson? What makes a good salesperson?
That's a very good question. What makes a good salesperson? Can they listen? Or can they learn to listen? Because listening is not the natural us. We are more geared to talking, yet God gave us 2 ears and 2 eyes, but 1 mouth, but we use the mouth more. So can somebody learn how to listen? And when I talk about listening, it's not sitting and just looking at me. It is, how do you listen? You listen by asking empathetic questions, or questions that will trigger the person to speak, the other person to speak. So that's listening. So that's number 1 quality, learning how to listen. Number 2, are they hungry? Hungry for growth, hungry to make money. Every time I go to an interview process to interview salespeople, and I find somebody's come for a sales interview, and I ask them, what do you want? What is innate for you? They will tell me, I'm here for growth, career growth, and I know this is not a salesperson. A salesperson will tell me, I'm here to make money. They're hungry. They're hungry to grow. And they're not looking for a salary. They are looking for a way to grow their income on a daily basis, not a monthly salary. Number 3 quality that I look at is discipline. Are you disciplined? Can you honor your commitments first to yourselves and then to others? So those are the top 3 qualities that I'll look for in a salesperson. And by the way, at 20X, we specialize in recruiting salespeople. We don't know how to recruit anyone else. We only know how to recruit salespeople because we know them when we see them. Yes. Yeah.
And so you've talked about the listening, you've talked about the hunger to make money and the discipline.
Yeah.
And so then does mindset play a role when it comes to selling, both for the salesperson and even for the customer?
Yes. Mindset, is it the Bible that says, as a man thinketh, so he is? Or am I creating my own quote? As a man thinketh, so he is. You cannot have what you have not seen or imagined. So mindset is critical. What kind do you have a growth mindset? The mindset that desires to grow. Do you have a curious mind? Because you see, selling, when I talk about empathetic listening, is about having genuine curiosity to know your customer. It needs to come from the heart. So what is that? Do you have a curious mind? Do you have genuine desire to know people and to help people? So mindset it's everything. Yeah, it starts with the mind. If you look at the book of Genesis, God looked at the world and said it was
Good.
without form and void.
Yeah.
And then he first imagined a world that has form and without the void, and said, let there be. So it starts with first seeing the problem, seeing the challenge, seeing the opportunity, and then imagining what it could be.
It could be.
and speaking, let there be. Yes. So mindset is different. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And when we started, let me just take you back. You said that everyone is born with that selling aspect in them. You even mentioned a baby, how they reach out when they're hungry. And you've also mentioned that in your company, you specialize in recruiting those people that you know they're good at making sales. So then, is it a natural talent? Does someone need to learn it? If you see that this one does not know how to sell, then can they be trained to sell?
Yeah. That's a very good question. Is it a natural talent or can it be trained? We said at the beginning, everybody has got capacity. But some people skill themselves. Basically, they learn or they are trained or they are coached to become excellent in it. So yes, it is a teachable skill, but you need to have the desire to learn. So what we do, because we recruit for SMEs, small and micro enterprises, these guys are not able to afford a very high quality salesperson. But they can, if given a chance, we're able to find them, fresh or, not very experienced to average salespeople. We place them in their organizations and train them while they're there so that they become. So that then they grow with these salespeople. So yes, it is a trainable skill and we invest heavily in training salespeople. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We are progressing well, and for those who are watching us, please send those questions, because on the second part of this program, Eunice is going to answer all your questions. Now, take us through the sales process. Does selling have a process that somebody needs to think about, follow, whether sequentially or otherwise? Is there a sales process?
Yes, yes. Actually, when I saw your flyer, I almost corrected it to say it's not the art of selling. It's a science.
It's a science. Okay.
And maybe because it's my scientific mind, I'll see it as a science. Why? Because you know that we studied chemistry. These are process. These are procedure. That if you mix one chemical and the other, you get this result. So it's a sale.
And when you change the conditions, the same chemicals might give you a totally different product.
Exactly. If you adjust the conditions or
temperature,
exactly. So I see sales as a science. That there's a process that will give you a certain outcome if you follow it. Of course, if you change the conditions, if you don't follow through, then it will give you something different. So, yes, there's a sales process. And the sales process, I like to see it the same way I explained to you. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. So that's already a process there. So the process starts with, how do I make people know me? So not know my product, know me. Okay? Yeah. So it starts with, it's called lead generation. Yeah? How do I attract people to know that I exist? So how do I generate leads? Then the next thing is, how do I qualify these leads? This is what we call prospecting. Qualifying the leads, finding out, do they need, basically, do they have a pain that they want to relieve? Do they have a desire that they want to meet? Do they have an aspiration that they want achieved? That is qualifying. And then can they pay? Do they have a budget? And they could have all this, but maybe they can't make the decision. And I'll give an example. Say you have a couple. And you met the husband. And the husband, for sure, he needs a home. And he has the money. But who makes the decision?
Maybe the wife.
The wife is the one who makes the decision. Do you have access to that wife? Otherwise, even if you talk back and forth, that house will not be bought. Because the decision maker is not there. So the work of a salesperson is to find out who is the decision maker here. Even if they came as a couple, when you come as a couple, I'm looking at I'm listening to know who makes decision here, because that's the person I need to understand most, because they're the ones who will pay me money. Yeah. Do not assume that, for example, for those who said those B2B, that when you go to a company that the CEO makes the decision. No, he may not be. He could be. He just opened the door for you, but the decision maker sits at a corner somewhere. Could be the secretary or somebody you may ignore completely.
Or
but
the
that's
user
a
of the
person.
product, or the technical buyer.
Exactly.
Or the financial person that might be looking at just finance.
Yeah. So it's very important to find out who is the final decision maker, who will say, pay them. That person needs to be in the room when you're doing your, whatever you're doing. So we've talked about lead generation, prospecting. After prospecting, there's something called customer discovery. This is where now you have this meeting of understanding, what are your needs? What do you want to achieve? Remember, selling is taking the person, the client, from here to where they're going. So you need to understand where are they and where do they want to go and what is stopping them. That is customer discovery. Then you present the solution because you've listened, you have understood what they need. Now it's time to offer the solution or what they have been desiring or what removes that obstacle. That will be in form of your product or your service. Now, salespeople make a big mistake to give generic solutions to everyone. Now, that means your customer discovery journey did not do anything, because the purpose of the customer discovery is to understand the emotions that drives that decision making, the why behind making the decision to buy. So once you understand that, do not present all the features of the product. Present only the features that meet that desire. That means I could sell this cup to Victoria, but as a different feature of this cup from how I would sell this cup. Meaning, both of you will buy this cup, but you didn't buy the same thing. Why? Because the value you see in this cup is different from the value he sees in this cup. Why? And we say, as beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, so is value in the mind of the customer. So it is not me as a salesperson who determines the value you derive from this cup. Maybe Victorian is buying because it's written faith today. But on the other hand, you're buying because it's white, looks clean. It's different value you derive from the same product. So do not fall into a temptation to imagine that the product does the same thing to all your customers. It's very important to find out what does it do, and that's what you do in the customer discovery, and then you present the solution. Now once you've presented the solution, the next thing is to ask for the money. Okay? Now if you've done a good job from the beginning, targeted right, qualified, done customer discovery and presented well, you actually don't need to ask for it. You just say, can you sign or can you take it? I need to be taken. Now, if you've not done a good job, there'll be what salespeople call objections.
We'll come to objections after the break. And I think just before you go for the break, when you're selling something, the features are good, but always tie the features to the benefits.
Exactly.
Because you can tell us 1,000 features, but it's the benefit that each one of the different people is looking for that really matters. So for the viewer who's been watching us, thank you very much for watching the first part of this program. We are going to take a very, very short 1 or 2 minutes commercial break. Please send your questions now, because Eunice will address your questions, because remember, we're here because of you. We want you to be a good salesperson, and we want your business to grow. And with that, I see you in 2 minutes.
Faith Today TV is here to make your brand outstanding. Worry not on where to advertise your business or your product. Call us on 0114 777 000 or email us on info@faithtodaytv.co.ke.
Hello there, my name is Enoch. Taking care of your health should be a top priority. Looking at the various engagements that we have today, it is so easy to forget about our health, mental well-being. That is why we introduce to you the Healthy You Talk Show, a brand new show that is going to address matters concerning your health, nutrition, stress management, mental health, name it. We bring to you a wide range of experts who are going to be touching pertinent issues concerning our health. Tune in every Tuesday at 10 a.m. live on Faith Today TV.
Thank you very much, dear viewer, for that short commercial break. Please, as I said, send your questions now because Eunice wants to answer your questions. And remember, we are here because of you. We're discussing about the selling process. And we're discussing about, we reached the place where we're talking about objections.
Yes.
So if you have done a very good sales pitch, you presented the features and the benefits of the product, then it's easy for you to be able to close a deal.
Yes.
Then you said, if you've not done a good job, it will be a problem.
Yeah.
Might be, let's pick from there and tell us about the objections that somebody faces.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, if you have not done a very good job, meaning you did not hear the customer properly, therefore you may not have matched your product
Yes.
with the value they are deriving, what you're calling benefit
Yes.
that they want to see, then there will be objections.
Yes.
Before I explain the objections, I talked something called value proposition. What is a value proposition? A value proposition is what the customer, that benefit the customer derives from the product that you're offering. Now, it has got three elements. One, it needs to be unique. It needs to meet a need and need to be proven that it works. Now, if what you have presented does not meet a need, automatically that's an objection. And what is the objection? I don't need it.
Yeah.
So this is where you hear a customer saying, can we talk next year? Or can we talk
Next week.
next
And
month?
never reaches.
And then you call and they don't pick calls. They're saying, I don't need it. And that is your work as a salesperson to now understand, find out, did I miss something? Did I really understand their needs? And most of the time, the customer is saying, okay, either they did not understand how that product meets their need, or they actually completely don't need it. That means you didn't do a good job in prospecting. Okay? If a customer says, kuna ya bei kidogo, give me the cheapest. What does that tell you?
Price is an issue.
Actually, price is not the issue. They're saying, I cannot relate the value I'm going to derive with the amount of money you're asking. There is a mismatch between value and the price. Remember, value is not equals price. If the customer finds it so valuable, they're willing to pay any amount. And they're also saying that what is unique about your product? They're telling you there is nothing unique. I can get it cheaper elsewhere. So that is your work now to differentiate. Differentiate what is this that is unique about this product or service. If there is no differentiation, then you will go to the route which I call the road to downhill, the route to the bottom. The price competition is not good for anyone. It's not good for customer. It's not good for you. because it's a road to the bottom. You puguza, the other person puguzas. You keep puguzaing because there's nothing unique about your product or your service.
Victoriana.
Yes.
What's your take about all this?
When you're talking about all the attaching the value to the pricing, and you've talked about the listening and the customer discovery aspect, and you've also said that when you're not able to close the deal, then maybe there was that gap in the customer discovery. So then how then do you make that, let me call it a pitch, truly compelling to the customer?
That's very good. How do you make a compelling pitch? Let's look at the same map. I wish I could draw so that you see what I'm talking about. Imagine this is your customer is here. We call them the customer avatar. An avatar is a representation of the many customers that you serve. So this is where they are. And they have a certain problem or a certain desire. And they want to go here. Okay?
Yeah.
So your pitch need to move them from here to where they're going. So they need to see the end goal in that pitch. So basically the focus should be on the value or the benefit the customer will get. So always start with the end goal in mind. Now, this end goal could be an aspiration. People are motivated by two things. Either they're running away from something or running towards something. If they're running away from something, then it means it's very painful. It's I usually tell people, me, I had to run away from poverty. So I had to learn selling quickly so that I ran away from poverty. So anything that was going to make me less poor was, was welcome. So, or they are running towards something. They have an aspiration, a desire. See, if it's a parent, they want their children to get the highest level of education. Show them how that will look like and how this product is helping them achieve that. So any compelling pitch must, number one, be showing the customer that there's something unique about that and that it meets that desire or it relieves that pain that they have. And finally, you need to have worked, who else has used it? They are asking for testimonial. They ask, how did other customers do it? Because people like things that are familiar. Yeah. So, and you will hear customers asking you, tell me, is there anyone else who has done this? So you need to have some testimonials. Now, if you have a new product, that's a bit difficult. This is where you trust that at least you get your first few customers so that you use them as testimonials. Yes, because people will always ask, who else has worked with you? Yeah.
Let's take a few of the viewers' questions, and there are quite a number, and thank you very much for sending those questions, and in case you've not sent your question, it's the time to do it. Now, somebody say, hello, it's Juliet, it's Janet. And the question is, what are the most effective techniques for building rapport with potential clients during the selling process?
Wow, good question there. Janet, the techniques. I like avoiding techniques, but give principles or a process, because then you can tweak it based on the customer you have. One of the important tools you need is what I call active listening. And I'll ask you, Victoriana, have you gone to a place where somebody just spoke about themselves and they did not give you a chance? How did that sound?
You feel left out.
You feel left out. Would you buy anything from such a person? Let's say whatever it is, would you even buy?
Not really.
Because it's not about what you have. It's about how you make them feel. And my friend, a behavioral scientist, always tell me that there are 3 basic needs for a human being. When you were in high school, we were taught there are which ones? Which are the 3 basic needs of a human being? Food, shelter, and clothing.
Yes.
Now, even if you have food, shelter, and clothing, you still have 3 basic needs. You can sleep outside, but the need to be seen, the need to be heard, and the need to be understood, that will always be with you. That is what causes people to get sick. It's what causes people to buy from others and not others. So, to build a rapport, always ask yourself, how can I meet these 3 basic needs? How can I make my customer, my potential customer, feel seen, feel heard, and understood? That means you can't be the one talking about. I've met people, you meet them and they're telling you, this phone is very nice. You see, it has a very nice camera. They have no idea who you are. They don't care. Will you buy? But if we met, Victoriana, how are you? And I start hearing you. I want to hear you. Tell me, how is business? When you talk about yourself, then you have my attention. And you remember me for wherever you go. You will not refuse to pick my calls. Why? You feel like we become friends. Why? I made you feel seen. I made you feel heard and understood. Yes. And there's a whole conversation about that. We can't finish that on how to make people seen, heard, and understood. But always go with a mind of, I am here. I need to offer a listening ear. And to do that, ask questions that are going to help your potential customer or your customer speak. If you find yourself speaking for 2 minutes non-stop or a minute and your customer has not spoken, you lost them. They won't buy. Just give up.
That's interesting. Now, a question from Mark. Mark is asking, he's saying, good morning, KBN. Morning to you, Mark. How do you handle clients who are interested but always delay closing the deal?
That tells you, first, either they don't need, or number 2, you did not listen to them. You do not understand their needs. So please go back to customer discovery phase. Remember, when it is a process, go back to where you lost the step, and you lost the step at the listening phase. Always remember, you have 2 ears, 2 eyes, ears to hear. Everybody who has ears can hear because they have an eardrum. But very few listen, because listening involves also the eyes, observing the body language, the things they're not saying, and only one mouth. The one mouth should be shut most of the time, so that you use the ears more and the eyes. And there's another faculty called the mind, to try and comprehend what are they saying, and a heart to empathize, to put yourself in, what are they feeling, their emotional drive. If you haven't done that, they will delay. They don't need it. You didn't hear them. And maybe they have even bought from someone else already. Yes.
Interesting, but will always delay. Now, Collins from Githurai is asking, what are the red flags to look out for when trying to close a deal?
Red flags? What are these red flags? I hear them in relationships.
Yes.
Red flags. Can we interpret that to be objections?
It's like it's something that tells you that you're heading nowhere.
Yeah, when you find yourself talking.
Yeah.
When you find you're the one talking all the time, imagine you're going nowhere.
Yeah.
But listen, let them speak, because you will hear what they're saying.
So when they're engaged,
they're engaged,
then you know you're in the right track.
Yes.
If they are not, that's a red flag.
Yeah. In fact, it's a moment, pause, and go back, ask them a question that will lead them to speak. Yes. Yeah.
And it's interesting because, like, for example, when you're selling a product, that's when you find, like, the hawkers. If they're selling you this cup, they'll actually even give you the cup to try out.
Yes.
or whatever product, experience, or whatever.
Yes.
So even by the way the person receives whatever you've given him, then you know whether they are on track to be interested or to
not.
buy or not.
Yeah.
If they don't even want to touch it, then you know.
Yeah, just move to the next one.
Move to the next, Okay, another question here is it better to offer discounts or focus on the value of the product? Which one is better?
It depends. Again, this is where now you need to understand the type of customers that you have. There are different customer profiles. There are people who are not interested in discounts.
Okay.
They're not price customers, especially the high net worth. Their focus is more on value. Their focus is more of prestige, what this can do. But then if your customer is a price customer, this is where discounts come in. And at the point of prospecting is where you get to know which customer am I dealing with. Then you can decide, what can I offer? Is it focus on value or give discount? Yes.
And I think you'll never go wrong when you focus on value, because discounts, from what I understand, they're just temporary.
Yes.
They're supposed to spur sales or might be reach a market penetration objective or a volume objective, etc. But value is long lasting.
It's long lasting, and you keep your customers referring others to you. Remember, you're not selling for now. Our mantra 20x, you need to sell daily, consistently, and predictably. Now, the thing with discounts is, when you want to hit that target towards the end of the month, then you offer discounts for your price customers, those who are more concerned about price. Then you meet your target. But can you sustain it? No. And
again, also, the more you offer the discount, the more you cheapen the product. Because if, for example, you gave me a 10% discount last month, what will make me come back to you if you don't give me another 10% or even more? So you actually go on a spiral, downward spiral in terms of price. So you start to cheapen the product. So value, I think I would go with that. Now, the other question is, how can a small business owner use social media for better sales and marketing outcome?
A very good question there. How can you use social media? Please remember the process. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. So the part for knowing is very important, because you have millions of people out there who do not know you. How do you get to know them? So you begin by segmenting your customers. Who is your customer? Who do you want to serve? And you could have maybe 3 different type of segments. Say you serve women above 40 who are single. Be very, categorize, get granular when it comes to segmenting your customer. Why? Because a woman above 40 who is single does not have the same needs with a woman who is 20 and single. Therefore, you can't use the same messaging. Now, once you know who it is you're targeting, what kind of content do they like to consume? This is where you ask, can I offer that? If you can't, then can you find people who can offer that kind of content, and you partner with them so that you attract your customer to you? And now at 20X, we do more of attraction selling than push selling. That's why the thinking is around, okay, if they want to talk about, how to find a partner in your 40s, are you an expert in that? If you're not, can you find an expert in that so that they pull them to you, and then you can now offer your product to them? Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Now, someone is saying, I'm Katarina. Thank you, Katarina, for writing to us. And this is helping me because I want to start selling some outfits. How do you convince someone who says, I'll think about it to buy now?
They don't need it.
I think about
it. You don't need it.
Yeah.
It's an outfit. I can see it. And I'm saying, I'll think about it. What are you thinking about? Nothing. Yeah. So, Catalina, please move to the next customer. Yes. That one doesn't need. And it's also good to understand that you're not meant to sell to everybody. And that's why segmenting your customers is very important. You're not going to, to sell to everybody. There are specific customers who are, these ones are the ones I serve. And let me take you back. Can we look at sales? For once, sales as the way God answers people's prayer. Because then you as a salesperson or as a small business owner, you wake up to serve, not to close a deal. See, there's a difference.
Yes.
Closing a deal, you're waking up to take. You want to take money from people. So the mentor, the attitude, the mindset is of taking. Serving, the mindset is, what can I offer to who? That means the dress is an outcome. The buying of the dress is an outcome of the service that you're offering. And this is why I said, listen, understand people's needs and pains. Because if you meet that, they will buy. If, for example, you said, single ladies about 40 are the ones you're selling these dresses to. What are the biggest issues they have around them? Maybe the desire to have this special person. So what can you do to help them? What kind of content can you create that is around meeting this need? Because they won't see your dresses until you meet this need. You understand? Now, of course, not everybody will buy. Some will buy, others won't. That's why you're encouraged to have many. So that as these ones are converting, the others are waiting. Yeah? It's called a pipeline. Yes, and a whole discussion right there, which we can I don't think we can finish today. Yeah, but yes, if they are thinking about it, they don't need it. And the other thing you can look at is, if it's a dress and they're thinking, they don't need it. Period.
There's something you said which I find very interesting about how somebody thinks when he or she is selling.
Yes.
If I have these cups and I feel I need to sell 50 cups today, I'll go with a very different mindset from somebody who comes and approaches selling in terms of the need of the customer.
Yes.
That somebody sees that there's people who need something called a cup, which will help them do something.
Yes.
And then you're going to address that problem.
Yeah.
So like the clothes, for example, you might look at it, you want to sell to make people look beautiful, or presentable, or shine in the office. And if that's the mentality, it's different from I have 50 outfits which I want to go and dispose.
And therefore you look for everybody.
You're looking for everybody.
You will not target the people.
Even your messaging is totally different.
Exactly.
And the attitude is different.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
And just to add to that, customers can sense. Sales is transfer of energy.
Yeah.
I can tell when you're hungry just to meet your target. And then I can tell when you're there to just show up and give me the best. Yes.
And solve a problem.
And solve my problem.
It's something you're passionate about addressing, about the customer.
Yeah.
Now, should I focus? There's another question from Gilbert from CBD, and he's asking, should I focus more on building relationships or hitting my sales targets? Exactly what you want.
Very good question there.
Yes.
Focus on building relationships.
Yes.
Because people buy from people they know, like, and trust. Once you build relationships, my friend, you will sell. I wish I had some time. I give my story on how I build relationships and how they translate into money. And once you build strong, long-term relationships, you will eat from those relationships for the rest of your life.
That can be a very good topic for next week. Now, good morning. Is it okay to follow up multiple times, or will it annoy the customer?
Very good question there. Yes, follow up, follow through. But what are you doing in this follow up? See, it's okay and it is important to follow up. But you can't always be calling me, Victoria, you said you're going to buy this book. Can you buy it today? Or are you buying today? Then I call you tomorrow. Victoria, the book is still here. So you're not giving me anything new. When there is that gap, that delay in buying, of course there are reasons. Either they don't have money or they're still doubting. we say that people do not change their mind. They make new decisions based on new information. What does that mean? In your follow-up, don't be pushy. You're providing new information. For example, if you're selling this cup,
Yes.
or the sufurias, let's say sufurias. So the first time I realized you needed a sufuria because you host big numbers of people. Okay? Now, the next time I'm telling you something new about this sufuria that maybe I didn't mention, or giving you a testimonial of someone who bought that sufuria and used it. How many people did they cook for? How did it turn out? The pilau actually came out better than when you use another different sufuria. So you're giving new information. Why? So that they make a new decision to buy. Remember, they made a decision not to buy. That's a decision made.
Yeah.
They won't change their mind. But if you provide new information, then they will make another decision of buying.
Wonderful. We have very little time now remaining. Let's see whether you can take this in 1 minute or 2 minutes. Good morning. I have several questions. Now, these are several questions.
Well,
Maybe this we should pick it to next week.
Okay.
But the question is from Jonathan in Kenyatta Road. Thank you, Jonathan, for writing. How do you handle customers who keep asking for discounts? 2, what do you do when a customer says, I'm just looking around? And 3, is it better to upsell to existing customers or find few ones? 2 minutes.
Oh.
1 minute, actually.
Wow. Many questions there. What do you do when customer keep asking discount? They're saying your product is not unique. I can find it elsewhere. So find out, what is this that I can offer that is unique? Sometimes you may not offer a unique cup, but you can offer a different way of delivering that product. How you speak to them, how you show up, that could be unique, because some customers actually will buy the way you treat them. So find something that will separate you, differentiate you from other products. Else you'll keep doing discounts. The other one was...
Is it better to upsell to existing customers or find new ones?
Number one, an existing customer is cheaper. The cost of acquiring a new customer is higher than keeping the existing one. So yes, you must keep the existing one, and that's in the cycle. We did not come to that on how to keep selling, upselling, and cross-selling to the existing customers, maintaining that relationship. So you need to keep this customer and keep upselling and cross-selling as you get new ones. So it's not either or.
You have to do both.
You have to do
Jonathan.
both. Yes, yeah.
The third one was, how do you handle customers who keep on asking for discount?
Yeah.
What do you say to customers who says, I'm just looking around? I think
I'm just looking at, it's the same thing with the discount one. Yeah.
So thank you very much, Eunice.
Yeah.
We've come to the end of this program, and I would want you to have some parting shots to the viewer. Maybe you can also talk once again about the book, how they can contact you, or they can get book, etc. And you can lift it towards the camera so that they can also see it.
All right. My closing point is 1. Wake up every day to serve. Why? God created us unique, special, to give others, to serve others with our skills and our uniqueness and our talents. Start looking at sales as that, showing up with your whole self, your full mind, thinking about the other person, what is in it for them, rather than what is in it for me. Tune down that station of wanting what is, what you can get, to listening to what others can get. How can you find us? We are 20X Entrepreneur on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Everywhere it's 20X Entrepreneur.
20X.
Yes, 20X. 20X. Why 20X? Because we have a dream and a desire to move small and micro enterprises and salespeople from X to 20 times. X is your current income, and 20 times is what it will be. Why? I did it. I was able to move my income from from a trainer's job to 20 times in 3 years. So yes, you can, because I did it. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Eunice, maybe you can tell them about the 2 books.
Yes, so this book those who have read this book, they call it your sales Bible. It's a must-have. You need it. Please go to the 20X Entrepreneur. We have a website, www.20xentrepreneurs.com. You can contact us from there and get a copy. This one, I wrote it, it's a journey of an entrepreneur, the highs and the lows. I wrote it when I was in the valley, because all of you know that business is not easy. So here I've documented the low moments and the high moments of entrepreneurship.
Wonderful book.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Eunice, for coming.
Thank you.
Victoriana, what is your parting shots?
Well, this was a really powerful segment. There's a lot of information. My perspective has shifted. And I'm sure even for the viewers, you've learned a lot. You're going to make yourselves differently so that you can get your customers to know you, to like you, and to trust you. It's been wonderful having you tuning in. Remember to continue sharing this with the rest of your friends so that we can keep growing together. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Victoriana. Thank you very much, Eunice. And thank you very much, viewer, for being with us this far. Remember to like, share, subscribe, especially on YouTube, to help us push this content to many more people. Until next time, may God bless you very much.